Brought to you by Marks with Mikes.
Warning, the video that you're getting ready to watch contains very strong language. You have been warned.
I think Taker told a story one night about me and him getting in a fight over a hat.
Yeah, man, I wanted to ask you about that, man. So how true is that story? Because it seems like it's legit, and I can picture the shit. So
you know what's cool about it? I was at my club when I did that, maybe 3 years ago. I did that. And you don't know, they just say, hey, we're going to ask you some questions about BSK. We're going to ask you some questions about Owen Hart. We're going to ask you some questions about Undertaker. And you just answer the questions, but you don't really know. And it was like, can you tell us about this story between you and Undertaker that went over this hat? So I tell my story, not knowing that Undertaker's telling it or not. And so what's cool about it, he never knew what I said. I never knew what he said. But it's the same exact story. And so it exactly happened like that. And we got into it. I told him I made him wear that hat. And he eventually wore the hat.
That's dope.
Like when I heard that story, like my mind automatically went Chappelle's show, Charlie Murphy, Real Hollywood Story. It's like, I could just picture it, just imagine if Charlie Murphy, like God rest his soul, was to narrate that story.
But see, like he said at the end of that, he says, you kind of had to be there. It was a crazy night because we had a lot of nights like that. That was just a normal night back then because there was no social media. There was no cell phones. There's no internet. There wasn't even no sports center. So there was nobody. Oh boy, if they had right now, we'd take us in jail. All of us be in jail. All the stuff we were doing.
So speaking of that, partying. Now you got a chance to run into some real talented artists, along the way, hip hop as well. There's a story out there, and I don't know if it's true or not. So, can you just enlighten us on this story with, I believe this was Cypress Hill?
Be real.
I wasn't there when Undertaker and all them were drinking.
Yeah,
I wasn't there.
You wasn't.
All I know is what I heard is basically. But what I can tell you what I think happened.
Okay.
Back then, nobody took pills like wrestlers took pills.
Pain pills. Yeah.
And so probably Cypress Hill was more into smoking weed, not taking pills.
Right.
Drinking and taking pills and doing all type of shit. So probably hanging out with the wrestling crew, it probably caught up to them. They're probably doing a lot of shit they weren't used to doing instead of just smoking weed. I just let it go. That's what happened. What's the story? I hear that they put them all to sleep, which is probably true.
Right. I mean,
these guys, some guys back then, man, you take 5 Vicodins, 5 Somas, some Placidil, some Percocet, some Ibuprofen, drink a half a bottle of Jack Daniels, and then go out.
And that was it.
Okay, and that was the lifetime. I am so happy that at 27 years old, I was Papa Shango. I tried marijuana for the first time in my life. And it got me off of all that shit. Will I have a beer, a shot now and then? Yeah, I don't get drunk. I don't take no pills. I only smoke cannabis. I don't take no pills besides a leaf or something like that, Allegra or something. But no pills to this day, and I think it saved me.
Yeah, that's awesome. Hey, I was gonna ask you a question from one of the Marks, all the way from Puerto Rico. He was asking me, what was the harshest punishment you ever saw been given in a wrestler's court?
That I remember, it was always like it was always like you had to pay for the guy's room for a week. You had to pay for his rent a car. You had to buy him a bag of weed. You had to buy him a case of beer. It was, it wasn't no like you have to carry his bag shit. It was always you had to pay for something. Yeah. I took D'Lo Brown. When it started, I was the bailiff, and then Undertaker was the judge. And then I got tired of showing up for him, so Bradshaw became the thing, and I got out of it. But I was going to take D'Lo Brown to court one time for misrepresentation of the word marijuana and good weed or chronic. Because I had all my hookups. Every place I had hookups, right? And we were in Chicago, where D'Lo's from. And D'Lo's like, big dog, I got you, man. Don't worry. I got the fire. I got the chronic, man. It's going to put you on your knees. I'm like, really? Okay, D'Lo. Okay. I'm like, all right, D'Lo. If I say do this, bro, make sure it's the fire, because you know I don't smoke that swaggy daggy fucking shit.
That shake.
Hey, D'Lo shows up. This shit it's that press. Looks like it's pressed with seeds and stems. And it looked like, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's that shake bag.
Get a shoebox and get the seeds out of it. It might not have been that bad, but that's what it looked like to me. And so I had to go a whole night without smoking good weed. I wasn't smoking shit, and I couldn't get no weed. So I was going to take him to court over the misrepresentation of the word chronic, but he settled out of court.
He settled out of court. That's awesome, man.
I never had to take him. I don't know what he settled. I think he bought me a couple bottles of Jack or something like that. We used to drink a lot of Jack Daniels back then. I think he bought me a beer. He paid us off.
Gotcha. Well, remind me to never have D'Lo buy me any weed. Next, so next question. So I definitely got to ask you. So at one point, you said you would come and go when you chose to, because it wasn't like you were on bad terms with the company. It's just you took a break when you needed a break. So one time during one of these breaks, it was rumored that you were supposed to be part of WCW's NWO
for life,
and
you had a verbal agreement or something of that sort.
I had a verbal agreement with. I'm not even gonna mention names anymore.
Right, yeah,
but I had because they're all, except one of them. They're all my friends, and I had a verbal agreement with them. And all of a sudden, I'm calling, and I'm like, okay, well, they're supposed to call me, and I'm calling them. I'm not getting an answer. I called Jim Burnett, whatever his name was. He doesn't answer me. Nobody's answering me. And the next thing I know, I see Virgil show up.
in my role. Wow.
And so, for whatever reason, I ain't going to get into that, because that'll get me upset. But they decided to save the money. And Virgil was asking for like a third of what I was asking for, but probably even less. So they decided to put him in there, which is good, because they just clowned him. They wouldn't have clowned me.
No, I was about to say, so it's a good thing you definitely missed out on that opportunity.
But to be honest, Ron Simmons told me, he goes, you don't want to go there, man. And I'm like, what do you mean? I'm from the North. I ain't from the South. I'm from the North. And I'm from an upper middle class family in the North. A place called Sunnyvale, which is now Silicon Valley, which is the most liberal place in the world. That's where my dad was a tool and die maker, making a lot of money, and my mom was an RN nurse, and they worked their asses off to put us. It was an all white neighborhood, but it was like you couldn't have been brought up better than safely without getting in trouble and shit, Yeah. And so I start thinking about things. I get off the track and stuff. Where was I going? I started thinking.
No, you were talking about them not clowning you the way they clowned Virgil and WCW.
So Ron, he says, "Don't go there, man. You ain't used to these rednecks." I'm like, "What you mean? I ain't afraid of no rednecks." And he's like, "Nah, man." He goes, "You gonna be fighting all the time with these motherfuckers?" I'll be like, "Well, I'll be fighting all the time." Then he goes, "No, you gonna be fighting all the time." He goes, "You ain't used to the way that they talk, because like that N-word. I've never in my life let somebody call me that word ever. And he goes, they gonna call you that word there. And that's when I'm like, well, I'll be fighting it. He goes, well, you gonna be fighting every day. He goes, don't go there. That ain't you, man. He goes, you ain't used to dealing with the crackers like I am. That's don't forget, it's a long time.
Right.
And so, I just stayed loyal to Vince. So it was a good thing I didn't go there, because I would have gotten in a lot of trouble there. Because I wouldn't have put up with it at all. I wouldn't have put up with it. I would have been fired the first day.
Everything happened for a reason, you know what I mean? And we got the Godfather, you know what I mean?
Hey.
And that worked out pretty well.
it did work out pretty well. Now, one thing I want to touch on before I go back to the Nation. Well, no, let me go ahead and touch on this now. So, inside the Nation, it was you and Ahmed Johnson debuting the same night as the new members, and then of course Rocky it ends up joining the group. D-Lo ends up joining he was already part of the group, and then you had Mark Henry join the group. Over that course of time, how close were you all, far as in the beginning? Because I know it's hard to put so many personalities together inside of a room, especially that you don't have prior knowledge of each other.
I think that's where the black thing came in, and everybody, including Rock, we all watched each other's back. We all got along. We all helped. We all tried to help each other. It was mostly Ron. Ron was the smartest out of all of us. Mm-hmm. And Ron would say, "Man, you need to be doing this different." And Ron really helped Mark Henry. We all helped Mark Henry because he was a good dude. Right. And we tried to bring him in. We tried to work him harder, make him do things that he wouldn't normally do. But to this day, I talk to Mark every now and then. I'd love to see him. I talk to D-Lo now and then. I talk to Ron Simmons once a week. And I don't really get to talk to The Rock anymore, but he was a good dude. It was really good. We all rode together for a long time, and then one day Rocky came to me and he goes, "Hey, big dog, man, can't ride with you no more." I mean, what's me? I can't. Vince wanted us all to ride together. Right. And he's like, "I can't ride with you anymore." I know. Man, every place I go, I smell like weed. He goes, everybody's like, "Hey, Rock, you smell like weed. You smoke weed?" He goes, "Every day I gotta explain why I smell like weed." I'm like, "Well, I ain't gonna stop smoking weed, so you and D-Lo better get the fuck out the car." Me, Ron, and John started riding together, and D-Lo, Mark Henry, and Rocky started riding together because the black car didn't smoke.
Oh, wow. Everybody getting contact and shit?
I was the only smoker.
Gotcha. So another thing I wanted to ask was during that time, I mean, through the Nation and after the Nation ended up disbanding, there was brawl for it all.
Brawl for all.
So brawl for all. So please elaborate on this, because I seen a little bit on Dark Side of the Ring, but I kind of felt like they probably edit out a lot of shit, because you probably had some shit to say.
Once again, man, for me, shit like that was just putting in work. And they came to us, they said, "Listen, we're gonna have this real fight thing. You get $5,000 for a fight. If you win, you get 10. If you win the whole thing, you get 100,000." I'm like, "Oh shit, that's easy money.
That's
I'll do it." I didn't even ask who's in it. I'm like, "Shit, I'll do it." And then as I started thinking about it, I'm like, "Well, hell, I got a chance of winning this motherfucker." But right then you would think that, okay, because we had 2 or 3 months notice. Right then you would think that, in my garage right now, I have speed bag, heavy bag, all that shit. You'd think I'd be hitting that stuff and practicing. But not.
Yeah.
But I literally thought I was so tough that I would just win it being me. So when I got to me and Bart fighting, a lot of people want to blame it on weed because it's out there that I was smoking weed all day. I smoke weed every day. That had nothing to do with it. Weed got me there.
Didn't you have an injury?
Because my wife was mad at me. She's like, she was taking that $100,000. She had plans for that $100,000, so she couldn't believe I lost. But the reason I lost is because I didn't take it serious enough to where I prepared myself for it, and I just thought I would win it. And that's just how my attitude was. Because man, I was laughing with my son. My youngest son's 17, and he's never been in a fight in his life. And I'm like, man, by the time I was 17, I was in 100 fights. And so I never really lost. To be honest, I never lost a fight in my life ever. And I just didn't think I would lose. I didn't take it serious, and I got caught. And I got caught hard.
Yeah. But overall, what you felt about
And then, you know, there's all the political stuff. And I didn't know about any of that. And they want this one to win. That's movie shit. It was all about the money. And you're like, I can win how much? We're just fighting. All right. I used to do that for a lot less than $5,000 or $10,000.
Give me $20. Come on, I'll beat his ass right now. Like,
yeah, but all the political stuff, I never got into all that. It was just, I didn't care. I was like, how much? Okay, here you go.
Okay.
That's how I am. I know they try to make, but that's all it was for me. I know that the show made it a lot more political, but that's all it was for me.
Yeah, what you think about the Dark Side of the Ring series? Like, you know,
I think
as a fan, you know.
I've seen more than half of them, and they've all been good. I think it's a really good show. I mean, I haven't watched all of them. I am going to catch up on all of them because they're taped, but really good show. I think they should do something like that, but instead of the dark side, it's like these stories that we're talking about. Start telling those like Undertaker stories.
The road
trip. They should do some of them crazy stories where you tell them stories instead of all the people dying and shit. But I guess that's what people want to hear.
Yeah.
But a lot of people hear these stories like we're talking about too, and put animation to them. Because I'm telling you, man, there's some wild. I can tell you some wild stories, and you'd be like, no, you didn't. No, they didn't. No, you didn't. Really?
There was one now.
But it would be entertaining. It'd be very entertaining.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So speaking
of
of
dark side, I love it all. Good stuff.
So my whole thing is, why haven't they done an episode fully on you? That's what I'm asking about.
They have.
Whoa.
They just haven't yet.
Oh.
They did it from me. The same story I told you about me being a basketball player, right, and a lot more in between, from riding bulls to fighting this to doing this. They just haven't released it yet.
Oh.
And it went through my whole career to where I'm from, everywhere. They just haven't released it yet.
Did they touch on your time when you went to Germany?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, we go through everything. My time with Taker, everything. Germany, Owen Hart, When I was in Germany, it was for Otto Vons. And listen to this card. We were there for 8 months, in Germany for 8 months.
Wow.
And it's the card. We had Owen Hart, Scott Hall, Fit Finley, Dave Taylor, me, Rambo, PM News, Salvatore Bolomo. I mean, that's the talent that was there for 8 months.
Wow.
And then sometimes I would go to Japan, or Owen would go, or Chris would go, and you'd do shows. But we were out there for 8 months, man. In Germany,
that was before Papa Shango, right?
Yes, that's right. That's right before Papa Shango, because, like I said, when me and Taker became friends, Taker went to Japan. When he came back from Japan, I went to Japan. When I came back from Japan, he went to WCW. I went to Germany. When I got out of Germany, he was in WWF. And then I got my tryout as Sir Charles, and that's how that went.
Okay.
I was always one step behind him.
The Deathless Press, huh? That was for y'all. Man.
He was Master of Pain, and I was the Soul Taker.
Soul Taker. Wow.
Taking souls.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Out of all your gimmicks, me personally, the right to censor suck, right?
Oh, I hated that.
But Papa Shango, even the Godfather, when they came back, when you was rocking the dreads and shit, you came back. You had like a little mean streak to it. It was the Godfather, but it wasn't right to censor. It was like, fuck him or fuck you up type of shit. You know what I mean? Dressing all black, like
it was like I ain't having fun no more. So now you got the real me, is what it was.
It gotcha. No, and I loved it.
It was to be all right, motherfucker. All right, come on.
Yeah. That was pretty awesome. But for you,
the Godfather, I hated it. I was gonna quit over it. I hated it so much. And then Vince, Vince is a ripper. When Vince found out about it, he dropped the belts on me in Bulls. He knew I wouldn't leave him like that.
Damn, that's messed up.
I can't. I was having so much fun as the Godfather that you can't take it away from me. can't. And he had to, because at that time we went from cable to the network, and a lot of it, they were going more PG, and the suck in and the puppies and all that stuff. It was going what Val was doing, and the worst was me, because I'm calling myself a pimp, calling mostly white girls hoes, talking about rolling fatty, smoking weed. It was just too much. And Vince would tell me, Charles, I'm fighting for you, bro. I'm fighting for you, but they're after me hard. He fought. And then it came. I could only be on Friday night. Couldn't be on Saturday morning. I couldn't be on Sunday. Couldn't say I was a pimp. Couldn't say hoes. Couldn't. Just got stupid where Vince had to do something. So he's like, I'm gonna put you in this right to censor, and hopefully we can get back to the Godfather, but we never did.
With that whole Godfather thing, I mean, I'm glad it did end, because honestly, I was pissed, but you know, you just explained why, and it makes sense when you think about it, you know, from a business standpoint.
I was gonna ask you, right? But since you mentioned about Venus, you got to tag with him a few times up in Canada, right? When you did, you did some wrestling in Canada.
Yeah, I tagged with Val a lot, man. More than just Canada. Back then, they were putting. It was kind of they'd gone as far as they could with the Godfather, and so to keep the gimmick relevant, they usually just 1 week I'd be with D'Lo, I'd be with Val, I'd be with Al Snow. They would just put different people with it. It was hard for that other person because they were just kind of part of the whole train in the Godfather show, and so. But they were just trying to keep the gimmick alive without just beating it, you know.
Right, and you know there was a couple times that that the gimmick just ran, that the Godfather just pop up like that. There was a time with Viscera, R.I.P. He was getting ready to propose, and you convinced him to join come on the whole train with the hoes and everything.
Man, that pop was so loud, man. If you go back and listen to the pop when they hit that, there's a funny story behind that.
Oh, come on, man, you gotta hear it.
Could you share it?
Michael Hayes has called me. Now, mind you, I ain't no multi-millionaire or nothing, but I'm doing okay.
Right.
And Michael calls me. He's like, hey, Papa, Vince wants to bring you in. Biggest mistake he said is Vince wants to bring you in. Vince wants to bring you in, and he wants to do something. And they got this guy named Chris Masters, and he just put Sergeant Slaughter in a fucking Cobra Cutcher and something, Master Lock, or whatever the hell it's
Full
called.
Nelson, I think it was.
Yeah. So we're gonna have you come out there and talk your stuff and do your thing, and he's gonna sneak up behind you and choke you out. I'm like, wait. So you're coming to my town, you're gonna put me in front of all my people, and you're gonna clown me like that? I'm like, are you joking me? Hell no, I ain't doing that. Mind you, he's told me Vince said he wants me. I never remember that. When Vince says he wants you, they got to get you.
Right.
And so he came with another scenario. Kind of, I'm like, no, I'm not doing that shit. So he goes, well, what will you do? And I knew I had him. I said, this is what I'll do. I'll do something where I come out, interrupt something with the girls, talk a little shit, and leave with the girls happy. And that's what they came up with.
And that to me, I mean, that pop was good.
Choked out in front of millions of people, getting choked out, put to sleep to that.
Yeah, it's not bad saying no. You know what I mean? You stand up for yourself, and you don't like the shit. Other people, they go ahead and do it. Next thing you know, their career's all fucked up. Eric Young, shout out. But you know what I mean? Like, you took a stand, and and I'm pretty sure Vince respect that. You know what I mean? Because you don't take shit from nobody.
He does. He's like, well, he'd be like, well, I was Charles, I wouldn't do it either.
Damn. Almost made me spit on my water. That damn Vince impersonation was right on point. Vince was in the room and shit. Like,
back in the day before, like I said, social media, I'm going back to the late 80s, early 90s. Vince would actually go out every now and then with you. So I remember that side of him. And, he's way past that now. But he used to actually go out with us back in the day.
Oh, word.
One of the boys.
Yeah, there was stories supposedly.
Vince is one of the boys you ever believed. All the stories. People, what people's problems are is they forget this is a business, and Vince, no matter what, he's your boss. And if you remember that, you'll be cool. But people get lost in that, then they get butthurt when something don't go their way. It's a business. Shit don't always go right. I always just swung with it. If I didn't like it, I left. I ain't gonna bitch about it. I'm just like, I'm out. Later. Yeah. Bye, Felice. Whatever that saying is.
Hey, about movies. How many movies have you been in?
I've been in a couple low-rate strip club movies, but I did a series out here called The Strip, what the WWE was involved with, and I got to play myself. But that's it.
Oh, okay. Cause I must say it like this. Nobody see this. One of my favorite movies growing up on the Hut, it was Striptease. Right? Mm-hmm. I love that movie.
That was so
young. Let It Come to Behold. Wasn't it filmed at Cheetahs?
Yes, it was.
Wow. Bro, once I found out that, I'm like, man. Bro, I watched that movie so many times. I rewind it with my hand, because it was on tape. Wow.
Oh, my God.
That's crazy.
He filmed that at the club, the Cheetahs, yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
He sold the club a couple years ago.
Oh, that's what's up.
Man,
I'm not involved in any of that no more.
Man, I definitely remember my days in the strip club as far as, working there. I remember throwing too much damn money. What's the most money you've thrown at a strip club?
No, that ain't me.
Oh.
That I ain't the one. I ain't giving them hoes my money. You joking me? No, hell no. I ain't giving them hoes my money, man. I ain't me. What I would do is, like, if we were out, I'd buy you guys 2 or 3 dances. That's how I do it. But I didn't like them hoes, man. Them hoes be all in somebody else's lap and shit. This nigga nutting on the shit. Did she go get in my lap? Nah, man. Not me.
I watch from a distance.
Yeah, I used to, I'd buy people dances. I didn't get them. That wasn't me.
Well, it like makes sense.
I would never just up their toes, but no.
That makes sense because the Godfather's a pimp, and I don't see a pimp throwing money. You know what?
No.
Perfect sense. Perfect sense.
It's like ordering some Jack straight, and they give ice. It's like, motherfucker, I want Jack. I don't want watered down Jack.
Me and Taker would go and, because after you make the loop, all the strip clubs know you.
Right.
And every strip club we'd go to, as soon as we sat down, they would come. You ain't gonna lie on Taker or anything. They would put a glass in front of him, a glass in front of me, and a bottle of Jack in front of us. And it was like that every night. And we'd go through a couple bottles of Jack before the night was over. Just straight shots of Jack. No chasers, none of that bullshit. Just shots of Jack. That's all we drank.
Wow.
Straight cowboy shit. Yeah. Like I've been, I remember my drinking ventures. You know what? I can definitely say to this day, and I have people that attest to it. Never had a hangover. Someone says I'm not drinking enough, but I tell them, based on my metabolism, how big I am. Like for me, I can kill a fifth, no issues on nothing. But looking at the way the culture is today, like as far as strip clubs, everyone throwing money and everything, it definitely makes sense. Like in a sense, at this point, I don't think that's going to be something that's going to be popping anymore due to the whole Corona.
No, man.
Now it's going to be that virtual shit, virtual.
All these clubs in Vegas have been closed since March. There ain't no strip club open here. They're all closed. They've been closed since March. I think in the Vegas when they closed them, they're all closed.
That's cool.
And now they're talking about maybe thinking about trying to do something the first of the year, maybe.
Wow.
And now they're talking about they're not going to do it. I don't know if they're ever going to open up, man, unless they find some type of, cure or something for this virus, man. Vegas is locked down. I'm just glad I can stay at home and do my thing.
Right.
Yeah. And one of the sites that, like, now with the quarantine and everything that's going on, it's been out for a minute, but now it seems like people using it is OnlyFans. Have you heard about that?
I've heard. I don't know what it is, but I've heard of it.
Yeah.
It's a trap.
What is it?
Well, it depends. You could people will pay to see whatever you do. Let's say you have and you're gonna show them
I know a lot of
how to.
know a lot of girls that listen to hoes. I know a lot of girls that are on OnlyFans.
Yeah, like they show their toes.
Nasty little birds, so I can imagine what they.
Well, you got those too, but then you got like, let's say you like show somebody how to roll like a big ass fat blunt or like the strength, and people will pay to see you do that. And imagine like $1, but it'll be like 38,000 motherfuckers giving you $1. That's 38 G's. You know what I mean?
Right.
So this
people been yelling at me about it because I was getting ready to start up something where I got so many people with, oh my wife's giving me the cue, like it's time to die. Oh, I know. Our time must be coming up pretty soon because my wife's coming up.
Okay. Boss.
You got some last questions? I talk to you forever, but we got a party to be at.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, you said, yeah.
You said it. All right. So, tell you what, let's get to three things actually. So, what does the Godfather far as music when he's blazing up on the smoke train? What is the Godfather listening to?
You got me to the point here. If I'm doing cardio, I'm listening to like some older country music.
Right.
If I'm hitting the weights, I'm listening to some old West Coast hard hitting stuff. You know, back in the I love listening to Tupac.
Cypress
Don't
Hill.
listen to a lot of stuff. If I'm high and I'm chilling in my room, and I might have some seasoned stuff on, I listen to everything. Depends what I'm doing and how I'm feeling. When I'm really, really high, I love I love rap because I like the beats.
You like old R&B.
And I like old R&B, but I like when it makes me pop that head like that.
Yeah. That's Cypress Hill.
Old R&B, like old classic rock and roll. I listen to everything, man.
Oh, that's dope.
My wife's over there now saying he does.
All right. So, two more questions. Well, the last three questions. This is going to be the trivia. So, here we are with the trivia. This is totally not wrestling related. This is all pop culture.
Okay.
So, first question goes like this. This character on a TV show, or should I say, this actor plays many characters on this TV show. One of the characters on the TV show that he played is Bob from Finance. This show came on Fox inside the 90s, and it does feature this comedian. Your choices are A, Martin Lawrence, B, Mark Curry, C, Keenan Ivory Williams.
Ooh, I'm gonna go with Martin Lawrence.
That is correct, from the Martin Show. You had Bob in Finance. Okay. Second question. Here we go. This one can be a little bit more tougher. All right. So this question. All right. This model turned actress.
Why you gonna ask me a question about some hoe? I don't follow hoes.
No. We're talking about an actress.
Okay. Well.
Okay.
Who knows?
All right. So this actress started off as a model. She ended up being an actress, not only having her own show on UPN, which SmackDown used to come on, but she started off on TV shows as the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and currently now hosting the new season of Dancing with the Stars. Is this actress turned model? Is this A, Tyra Banks, B, Naomi Campbell, or C, is it Giselle?
The first one.
Tyra Banks, that's correct.
Yes.
All right.
Tyra Banks. I remember. Yeah, Tyra Banks. Girlfriend. I remember her.
Okay. And last question. And
You better give me some motherfucking credit. I got two of the right now.
Yeah.
Come on.
You got two.
You got two.
He 2 for 3.
I knew the answer. I'm the Godfather.
Okay. And last question. This character right here was voiced on a TV show, and I am going to give you the name of the actor who did it. So the actor who voiced this character was Cat Williams, and this character was on a TV show, a cartoon to be exact.
Ooh, I didn't know the answer.
Oh, okay. You think you know this one? Okay.
No, I don't have to guess it this one.
Okay. So was this character named A, Superfly, B, a pimp named Slipback, or C, Jerome?
Well, Jerome was from the Martin Lawrence show, so there you go. What was the second one? I'm guessing. Give me the second one again.
A pimp named Slipback.
And the first choice was Superfly.
I'm going with a pimp named Slipback.
Oh, he got him right.
3 for 3. So what that means is, for the listeners, listen, first 3 people to leave us a voicemail, we are going to personally on our end purchase 3 of the Godfather's merchandise from his Pro Wrestling Tees shirt website and send those shirts out to you. So that's what we're gonna do. So the first 3 to leave us a voice message, let us know, of course, your name and everything. We'll contact you. But until then, we had a wonderful time with the Godfather. We got to do this again because I'm pretty sure there's plenty more stories that we can definitely touch on. But we got to do this again.
Man, I had a great time, man. I had a great time.
Thank you for coming in.
Well, to our listeners, we're going to tell you like we do every time. We have to remind you, and I want you all to listen, turn up the volume on this. We mean this from our hearts. We need you to wash your hands and wash your ass. Use some soap. And Cheech, they want to make sure that they're doing it from what?
From face to ass, not ass to face. Remember that.
Remember that. It's very important. And listen, with that being said, we out.